to do podcasting. And podcasting is taking audio and video and putting it together in a way that you can run it like a movie, and so you're hearing and seeing at the same time. So instead of doing just a project where you have paper or just a project where you're recording something, you have your recording and the video, therefore creating a movie-like of your information. And one of the things that we could do many things with the Oregon counties to teach other kids, to teach people in the school or ourselves. One of the things we could do is a brochure, a poster, but to make it more interactive for you and to make it something that is forever shareable with other teachers, other kids, we're going to do what we call a podcast. You can do voice and pictures at the same time. So what we're going to do is, instead of doing a brochure with your counties of Oregon, you're going to create a podcast answering questions about your county in visual and audio format. So you will learn about it, write your script based on what you've learned, gather pictures to bring in later, and combine those medium with voice, pictures to create a visual, sound-filled podcast for each other. So that is the goal of podcasting, is to create a teaching tool for yourself, other teachers, and other kids using the counties of Oregon.
Notebook, which every kid gets. And the first activity that we do is a bubble map, and I show the kids a really basic bubble map on the document camera, and then I show them how simple they can be, and then I move on to a very detailed bubble map like this after they've made their first bubble map, which usually will motivate them a little bit more. And then what I show the teachers how to do is to actually have them do this as a smart board lesson, so that kids could do this on their own as like an independent station if they wanted to. And turning this on and getting the circles, and then doing their big circle in the middle, and then bringing out their small lines. Let's do my example of when I went to California. And then I also showed them how sometimes it's easier to write and then add your bubbles. And then we did friends we saw. And one of the other things that I always talk about in Writer's Workshop, especially in their notebooks, is how messy it is. Doesn't matter. We don't care about spelling or any of that. It's just getting your ideas down. We care about that when we start drafting. One of the ways to get them generating ideas using the smartboard is called the favorites list. And I asked the kids to tell me their different favorite things that they could write about. And so usually I'll give my first example as favorite food. Oh, my board's off now. And then I might do books or something like that too. And then I will list like two things. I'll put like Thai food and Chinese. And then I'll go around and ask the kids, and I'll put theirs in a different color up here. I'd list all of them. Same thing for the books. And then I would have them come up with other things that they can write about on here that they could generate lists from. They actually usually come up with better ideas than I do. I've had like movies and friends' names, whatever they can come up with. And then usually they can go back and they'll write a story about, pick a time when, you had an interesting experience eating Thai food or something like that. I always show my writing first because they get to see how messy it is and how, if I've screwed something up, I just cross it out. I don't do any erasing. They get to see if I misspelled something. So this is the I Remember When list, and I do this one up on the board too. And this one they like because they don't have to write the I remember when part over and over again. You just write this and you repeat it in your head. So I remember when, you know, I moved to Oregon. I remember when I broke my arm. I remember when they make these lists, and this is another one when they go to write their narrative. They can go back and, oh, you have all these different stories that you remember about. Tell me more about when you moved to Oregon. Or tell me, write a story about when you broke your arm. Or and this is actually one of the ones that kids love more than any. And then in the center, so right in the center right here, these are all the people or animals. We decided to include animals because kids have lots of animals that they love the most. So that's what goes in the center. Then around the outside, so around this part here, and we always kind of color code it, we do the things that make them feel really good or always make them happy. I put like my favorite things around here. If I have like a charm bracelet that means a lot to me because it was given to me, or a lot of kids like to put their favorite food and their favorite colors. We call the filling. These are your important memories. You know, when I moved to a new school, when I met my best friend, so-and-so. You know, I give them my examples when I graduated college and things like that, but they have their own. And you know, when I lost my first tooth is pretty classic. So that goes around in here. And then we make those into a whole display. So those are the first six lessons that I do. And these are the ones I showed the teachers how to do on the smart board.